Hello and welcome to what can only be described as a very unusual setup for my video this week. Continuing my series, looking at every race in the Formula One World Championship, this year of course being the 2025 Formula One World Championship. Now, as some will know, I'm on holiday this week, but having managed to catch the highlights, extended highlights of the Hungarian Grand Prix last night, that's Monday night, the day after the Grand Prix, I am now in a position to do a very short video. Short for numerous reasons. Yeah, lots of different reasons really. One, I can't do it in the same controlled environment that I normally do my videos because I'm on holiday in a hotel room. Another reason would be I don't know how easy it's going to be to upload the video. It depends on the Wi-Fi here, basically. We'll see. And another reason would be the noise in the background. You might be able to hear the noise. I think they've just started a yoga session in the pool. Anyway, so apologies if the background noise is a little bit disturbing. Another reason would be that any minute now there's going to be a knock, and it might be the cleaner wishing to clean the room. So anyway, let us steam ahead with my very short views on the video. I'm not going to write anything down because I'm not in my usual setup, but I will read out the finishing order of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's go. So we have first place, the winner was Norris, second was Piastri, third Russell, fourth Leclerc, fifth Alonso, sixth Bortoleto, seventh Stroll, eighth Lawson, ninth Verstappen, 10th Antonelli, 11th Hadjar, 12th Hamilton, 13th Hulkenberg, Sainz was 14th, Albon was 15th, Ocon was 16th, 17th Tsunoda, 18th Colapinto, 19th Gasly, 20th Bearman. And the top four I'm only doing in the championships. Piastri 284 points, Norris 275, Verstappen 187, and Russell 172. And in the Constructors' Championship we have McLaren on 559, Ferrari 260, Mercedes 236, Red Bull 194. Okay, so what did we think of that race? I have to say I was actually quite thrilled with the result. I know, obviously, people know that I want Norris to win the championship, but I was thrilled for a different reason, and that is because I was desperately trying to avoid the result until I could watch the highlights, until I could find a way to watch the highlights, basically. I didn't manage that until Monday night, late Monday night. I'm in the same time zone, by the way, as the UK. I'm in Lanzarote, so same time zone. So yeah, late night on Monday. But I had accidentally seen what I thought was the result. I went onto a sport website absent-mindedly and saw a picture of Oscar Piastri with a big smile on his face before I quickly escaped. So I was absolutely convinced, of course, that Piastri must have won the race. And I was thinking that even more so after the start, when Norris went down to 5th place. And I thought, Piastri's obviously going to get Leclerc, probably in the pit stops, and win the race. Norris will fight his way through to 2nd place again, like he's done so many times this year, because he messes up the start or he messes up qualifying or something. And he has a much harder race than Piastri. It's most of the races this year. Up until Austria, I would say Piastri was having a breeze. but not since and including Austria, where I think Piastri's been very good. In fact, that's the strange thing about this season for me. I think up until Austria, Norris was the faster driver, but he was prone to mistakes, which he would admit himself. And so there were so many races where Piastri just breezed to the checkered flag thinking, where's my teammate? Because Norris had either messed up qualifying or he had made a mistake in the race or something. Or in the case of Miami, he went off the track because Max Verstappen made a mistake when Norris was challenging him. That was a bit unlucky for Norris. But yeah, Piastri just sort of breezed through to those first 5 wins. The first in China, I remember, Norris had a shocker in qualifying or something, qualified 8th or something, there you go, handed the victory straight to Piastri. However, since and including Austria, I would say Piastri has been on a par, if not faster than Norris. And yet, strangely, Norris has won 3 of the last 4 races. It's a strange thing. I would say Norris was faster in the earlier part of the season when Piastri was doing all the winning. And now that Norris is doing most of the winning, I think that Piastri is faster. Although Norris did close him down in Silverstone quite easily. There was only a lap difference, I think, in their tyres, 1 or 2 laps. And he closed Piastri down really easily, 10 seconds before Piastri came in for his pit stop and penalty. So Norris still has that speed, but I think they're basically on a par. I think they're level pegging for speed at the moment, but Piastri still has that edge with mistakes. He just doesn't make mistakes. Oscar does not make mistakes, whereas Lando still does. And after the race, when he was interviewed, Lando said that what he was most proud of was not having made any mistakes whilst he was doing that long stint on the hards. He didn't make any mistakes, and he was very proud about that. That was the big achievement. So he acknowledges himself. We know that Lando is very honest, and so he appreciates that he has made mistakes. I struggle to listen to Oscar interviews because he doesn't really say anything. He's a nice, polite chap. He's a nice, friendly guy, but you don't get anything from him. Some people like Max, you get a bit of venom spat back at you, or with Lando, you get some deep insight into the inner workings of his brain. With Piastri, all you hear is him say, "Yeah, it was quite nice," and some might describe that as boring. I wouldn't. I think it's perfectly. He's just a pleasant guy, Oscar. But you don't really get much back from his interviews. That's fair enough. He's a nice guy, but he might be a nice guy off the track, but on the track he's super aggressive. And that a couple of times he tried to pass Lando on the into the first corner, didn't he? God dear. And of course I'm thinking Oscar's definitely won because I've seen Oscar celebrating effectively. I don't know where. I haven't gone back to that picture. I haven't managed to find it since, but. Why on earth did they have a picture of Oscar sort of looking like he was celebrating? I don't know, after the race. Anyway, it made it more enjoyable for me because I was convinced Oscar was going to win. And then he didn't, right down to the last lap. Even halfway round the last lap, I still thought, well, obviously Oscar's going to win because I've seen it. And then Norris won. And then I thought maybe Norris was disqualified. So I then... I looked it up just to confirm that he hadn't been disqualified. But yeah, I mean, I get the impression that at the moment, unfortunately, Lando is hanging on by his coattails to Oscar's speed. Oscar is just as fast as Lando, if not a little bit quicker. And at this stage in the championship, overall, the time they've been together, Lando has been faster. And for most of this season, Lando has been faster, but not... at the moment, not since and including Austria, where Oscar has been blistering and not making mistakes. So how on earth has Lando managed to win 3 of the last 4 races? And I think He's won 4 of the last 5 McLaren races as well. The last 5 McLaren wins, 4 of them have gone to Lando. It's just, I know a lot of Oscar fans out there would have very good answers for that, but what about how come Oscar was winning when Lando was comfortably the quickest earlier in the season? It's just the way it's gone. It's strange, but there you go. So the actual race, so Russell had a very good race. Very quick, managed to take 3rd place off Leclerc, a little bit of argy-bargy. Leclerc, he's so feisty on the radio, isn't he? Too feisty in my opinion. Both Leclerc and Verstappen go over the top, I think, with their messages. You get moaning messages from other drivers. Hamilton moans a bit, but it's just tamer when Hamilton does it. It's not as aggressive. It hasn't got a lot of viciousness to it. But it certainly does with Max, although not so much this year. I haven't heard it so much this year from Max. Maybe he has toned it down. He would never admit that, of course, because that would be like admitting that he was wrong in some way. But Charles, super aggressive with his messages, and then after the race he finds out, as they often do, that there was a very good reason why he was on a 2-stopper, and he had chassis damage. Apparently the Ferrari he thought he was slow because he was on a 2-stopper instead of a 1-stopper. I think that's basically what it was, but it wasn't. The reason why he was so slow in the second half of the race was because there was a chassis damage on his car. Well, I don't know why didn't they just tell him that? I don't know. Maybe they didn't. He didn't believe them. But he was ranting. I mean, we're talking paragraphs of ranting at his team during the race, and then of course he regrets it afterwards. But we'll still do it at the next race. Driving very well though, Charles. Extremely well. Pole position. Very, very good. Poor old Hamilton though. I thought earlier in the season that he would not be racing next year, and then he was so convincing, I suppose, with how he was saying, no, I will definitely race in 2026 and beyond at Ferrari. But now I'm starting to think that I'm starting to go back to thinking there is a real chance that Lewis will not be racing next year. These things can turn just so quickly, just like that. 1 minute something's definitely happening, the next minute it's completely changed and something else is happening. So I think there's a very good chance he won't be. I'll go back to my original thought 6 or 7 races ago that he was not going to continue next year. He described himself as, did he use the word useless? I think he did. He also suggested that Ferrari should get another driver, but he didn't say it in a jokey way. He said it in a dead serious way. And he also said something very strange. He said there are lots of things going on in the background that are not very nice. And when he said it, it was almost like his voice was cracking up. He was hiding his face underneath the baseball cap, and it was like his voice was croaking a little bit, like he was emotional. What are these things? I haven't heard anyone question it. I haven't seen anyone question it online. Obviously, a lot of my coverage has been curtailed. I haven't seen much. Just highlights of qualifying and extended highlights of the race, and that's it. But I haven't seen any mention or any question as to what he meant by there are lots of things going on in the background that are not very nice. I think that's the most telling thing he said. Everyone's focusing on him describing himself as useless and how they should get another driver. I think it's more important these other things going on in the background that people don't know about, that are very serious, that are not very nice, he said. But anyway. So, yeah, terrible for Hamilton. Started 12th, finished 12th. Hadjar got smashed in the hand by a load of gravel at turn 12. I've never heard that before. In all the decades I've been watching Formula One, I've never heard a driver complain about being pummeled with gravel. So that's a new one. He seemed to be quite distressed by that. Verstappen had a bad one, 9th place. But he is racing next year. He is racing in the Red Bull next year. And Frederick Vassar has got another multi-year contract at Ferrari. I think that's good. I think Ferrari shouldn't go down the Chelsea route of constantly firing their manager every 5 minutes. Stick to one, okay? Stick to a proven quality manager and stay with that. you know, don't keep changing all the time. Yeah, the Aston Martins 5th and 7th, very good in qualifying, very good in the race. Alonso really upbeat afterwards. That was fantastic stuff. Colapinto, what happened to him? I don't know. Oh, and of course we've got Bortoleto in 6th place. How could I forget him? I was mostly concentrating on the McLarens, I have to say, but I was aware of the light green car there up near the front. Well, you know, not right at the front, but up there anyway. Fantastic by Bortoleto, and that's the 6th race on the trot that Sauber have scored. And Sauber were terrible at the start of the year. They were terrible all year last year, only scored 4 points in the entire year. Hulkenberg has already picked up a podium, other good finishes. Now Bortoleto gets in there as well, that's good for his confidence. That's really coming on well, and of course it'll become Audi next year, so that's really going well for them, very happy for them. Haas seem to be struggling at the moment, not really doing much. Bearman and Ocon are not doing anything. The Alpines are not really doing much at the moment. I mean, Gasly, I say that, Gasly has been getting into the points, the lower end of the points, every now and again, but that's all. The Williams, not doing too good. Sainz seems to be struggling. He was very quick at the start of the year, especially in pre-season testing, but I don't know, he's now struggling a lot, and Albon is not getting his consistent results at the moment. Antonelli, 10th place, it's not good for his confidence down in 10th place. They've really got to put an arm around him. Lawson, good performance. He's dragged himself up from the ground because he was booted out of Red Bull after just 2 races, which was ridiculous. And I said that at the time, absolutely ridiculous. And that's why they haven't done it with Tsunoda, because they realised it would be ridiculous again. Tsunoda's doing no different to what Lawson was doing. He's doing no better. But then Lawson was starting to get thrashed by Hadjar. But he's put in some good results lately. Anyway, I'm going to end the video now, I think. So that's just my thoughts on that. Great for Norris. Big surprise for me because I thought Piastri had won. 3 wins out of 4, but it does feel like he's holding on. He's holding on to Oscar's shirt tails at the moment. Oscar, you know, could so easily have won the last 4 races instead of Norris winning 3 of them. So, but as I say, if it was the right way round, then Norris would have had more wins earlier in the season, and Piastri would have won the last few. Yeah, that's just how it goes. But it's very tight going into the second half of the season. 10 races left. Piastri has 6 wins. Norris has 5. Verstappen has 2, and Russell has 1. Great stuff. Oh, and the interesting fact was, on the grid, the top 3 on the grid all had 8 wins to their name. Leclerc, Piastri and Norris all had 8 wins to their name. Well, now Norris has got 9 wins. Well done, Norris. And that was also the 200th win by McLaren, apparently. Only Ferrari have done more. Okay. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm going to end it now. Hopefully I'll be able to get this uploaded. And I'll see you. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so, or like, or comment on the video, or even leave a tip on the thanks button. Although this is not much of a video, this one. Just wanted to get it out on time, or as on time as I possibly could. Okay, so thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.